Let's make something crystal clear. The world isn't suffering from too much masculinity. We're surrounded by confusion, weakness, and indecision. Families are crumbling, communities are falling apart. And the people in charge, they keep telling you to sit down, be nice, and stay out of the way. But that's exactly the problem. Weak men create weak times, and weak times destroy everything good. If you've ever felt like something's off in this world, you were built for more than just following rules and living quietly in the corner. You're right. The world doesn't need you soft. It needs you strong, not just in the gym, but in your values, your leadership, your discipline, and your mindset. And if you're ready to become that kind of man, the man who leads instead of follows, who builds instead of blames, who dominates instead of drifts, then I built my private coaching program for you. Inside, I help men like you master themselves, sharpen their edge, and command the kind of respect that only comes from real strength. Use the first link in the description to join. Don't wait until the world breaks you. Get strong before that happens. And let's get into it. Here's why the world needs strong men. 1. Weakness has become the default setting. Let's be real. Men today are soft, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They don't know how to deal with pressure. They break under criticism. They avoid responsibility, and that's not entirely their fault. They were raised to think strength is a flaw, that masculinity is something to hide. Everywhere you look, weakness is being sold as compassion. Indecision is being dressed up as tolerance, and passivity is praised as being safe. But the truth is, none of that builds anything. Weak men don't fix problems. They don't protect families. They don't lead movements. They sit, they scroll, and they settle. You've probably felt this before, the pressure to blend in, to avoid confrontation, to go with the flow. But deep down, you know that's not where you're supposed to be. There's a part of you that wants to test your limits, that wants to feel the weight of real responsibility, that wants to look in the mirror and know you're becoming a man worth following. Strong men aren't born, they're forged through discipline, through hardship, and through decisions that separate them from average. And in a world full of excuses, the man who chooses to be strong stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. People are drawn to him. They follow him. They depend on him. That's why the world needs you strong. Not someday, not when it's convenient, now. Chaos wins when men refuse to lead. Take a look around. There's confusion everywhere. Families are falling apart. Culture has no anchor. People are lost, angry, anxious, and unsure about everything. And you know what's behind all of that chaos? A leadership vacuum. Too many men have stepped back, checked out, or given up. And the result is exactly what you'd expect: disorder. When men refuse to lead, something else will fill that gap. And what fills it isn't structure, it's noise, weak voices, empty opinions, temporary fixes. And the world just gets louder and more lost. But leadership isn't just about giving orders, it's about taking initiative. It's about standing firm when everyone else folds. It's about being the man people can count on when it matters most. And that kind of leadership starts with leading yourself. It starts when you stop blaming the world, stop waiting for someone else to take charge, and start becoming the kind of man who brings clarity into chaos. Strong men bring order. They simplify the complex. They protect what matters. They build structure that others can lean on. And more than anything, they take ownership, not just in their lives, but of responsibility that comes with being a man. Leadership is not optional anymore. It's not just stepping up. The world doesn't need more passive men. It needs leaders. It needs you to be that man. Strength is the prerequisite for peace. Here's a brutal truth. Peace isn't natural. It's not the default. Chaos is. Conflict is. Disorder is. Peace is something that you fight for. It's something you maintain. And only strong men have the ability to do that. Most people don't understand this. They think peace is the absence of conflict. But in reality, peace is the result of power that's under control. And you can't control what you don't have. That's why weak men can't protect peace. They crumble under pressure. You can't be a peaceful man if you're soft, undisciplined, and incapable of holding the line. Because when life tests you, and it will, you won't be ready. And when you break, so does everything around you. Your family, your finances, your future. Strength, on the other hand, gives you options. It gives you leverage. It gives you the ability to protect, provide, and perform, no matter what chaos surrounds you. It's not just about lifting weights or looking tough, though that does matter. It's about becoming the kind of man who isn't easily moved, who doesn't flinch, who doesn't fold. And this is exactly what I help men do inside our private coaching program. We develop strength at every level, mental, physical, emotional, because peace doesn't come from softness. It comes from being prepared. If you're ready to stop hoping life will get easier and start becoming stronger than anything life throws at you, join us now by using the first link in the description below. The world doesn't give you peace. You take it with strength. Families collapse when men stay passive. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. When men stay passive, families fall apart. It's not just about having a job and paying bills. Being a man means leading your family with direction, protection, and authority. And when you refuse to lead, the people you love suffer for it. Kids grow up without structure. Wives grow resentful. And the household becomes a mess of confusion and frustration. Why? Because it was built on silence, indecision, and avoidance instead of strength, standards, and love backed by leadership. You've got to understand, your masculinity isn't just about you. It's about everyone you're connected to. When you level up, everyone else rises. But when you retreat, when you give up your role, you create a vacuum. And nature hates vacuums. Real strength doesn't just benefit you. It anchors your household. It builds security in your woman. It shapes your children. It sends a message to the world that this family is protected, led, and guided by a man who refuses to fold. And if that sounds like pressure, it is. But pressure is exactly what forges strength. And you were built for that kind of weight. That's what it means to be a man. Not just existing, but being the foundation others can count on when the world shakes. Stop thinking of strength as a luxury. It's your duty. Your family isn't waiting for a superhero. They're waiting for you to step up. The next generation is watching what you build or refuse to. Most men don't realize this until it's too late. But you're not just living for yourself. You're setting a blueprint, whether you have kids now or plan to have one day. The next generation is going to follow something. The question is, will they have a map? Or will they have to start from zero because you never built it? Boys don't learn masculinity from textbooks. They learn it by watching men live it, by seeing strength in action, by watching you wake up early, handle your responsibilities, stay disciplined, and protect what matters. And when that example is missing, chaos fills the gap. That's why so many young men are lost. No fathers, no mentors, no direction. And then we wonder why they're angry, addicted, and underachieving. But here's the good news. You get to decide what kind of legacy you leave. You can build a standard. You can create the blueprint. You can be the first link in a long chain of strong men. Or you can pass down the same silence, confusion, and fear that you were handed. The world needs strong men because the next generation will either rise because of you or fall because of your absence. The choice is yours. Here's the bottom line. The world doesn't need less masculinity. It needs more. More strength, more leadership, more discipline, and more direction. The world needs men who aren't afraid to carry the weight. And that starts with you. If you're ready to build that kind of strength, not just on the surface, but deep in your character, then join my private coaching program today. We don't do fluff. We do results. We build men who become unshakable in a world that's doing everything it can to break them. Use the first link in the description down below and get started now. The world needs strong men now more than ever. So be one.